This was the 1950s, the silent generation, the Eisenhower years, before the Kennedy years, before Vietnam, before free speech, before Haight-Ashbury, before free drugs.
Frank would actually surprise us all the time, but in kind of the same way. He would find some way to freak us out. Mainly, I just remember running away from him as he would chase after us, saying, "Give me a kiss." And I do remember, like, he'd have that wispy mustache and then the big wet lips. And
with the beard sticking out, and his pockmarked skin and his scary teeth and, eyebrows and,
I am the Beijing Wonton monster.
What's so ironic for all the people in Japanese America who hate Frank Chin, I wonder how many of them realize that the Day of Remembrance was coined by Frank Chin. The Day of Remembrance was invented by Frank Chin. And yet, many in Japanese America revile Frank Chin.
This is the kitchen god. Amy Tan says the kitchen god, that his wife is not honored. This is the kitchen god. The wife is honored. So Amy Tan's book is a phony. The Chinese people hate Christians.
He doesn't like me, but I really feel he's a very important figure in Asian American studies.
Why doesn't he like you?
Oh, because I write on Maxine, and I like Maxine's work. I mean, it's just anyone who teaches Maxine, or you know how he is.
Establishing a Chinese American consciousness, which is our background. And remembering, how our thoughts were formed, how our experiences affected us. I have a picture of myself and my mother sitting on top of a horse in Knoxbury Farm. And Frank had a picture like that too.
This is the official Frank Chin commemorative C clamp. And see, it is a C, and so it's like the Frank Chin C clamp, the Frank Chin Chinaman C clamp, and it's very useful for bonding. And the only reason I have it, I've never used it myself, is that when Frank was doing some construction for me, he said, we need a C-clamp, and I didn't know what he was talking about, so we had to go down to the hardware store and get this thing, and it sure bonded very, very well. And it says, made in USA, adjustable.
What's wrong with Frank Chin is that he's not read enough. That's the major problem. And I think if publishers were behind him, or if he got as much exposure as some of these mediocre intellectuals, public intellectuals, who all sound alike, they all know that French jargon and all that stuff, he would change a lot of people's minds about what's happening in this country.
The things that I admire about Frank are the things that most people consider are wrong about Frank. I like his outspokenness. Anyone who takes those bold risks in life has an element of madness about him. And maybe that's why he's such a brilliant artist.